boys and girls, welcome to Everyday Math Lesson 1.11. Today we're going to be working with the symbols less than, greater than, and equal to. The materials that you'll need: notebook paper, pencil, and your math journal. Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is go over our math boxes from the previous lesson. So if you could open up your math journal to page 16. If you're noticing that you have any mistakes, please fix those with your pencil and eraser. So for question number 1, we're filling in the missing numbers. There we go. So if I'm starting at 68, I can see the number right before that is going to get me to 67. Right after that would be 69, and then 70. For question number 2, we need to write these numbers in order, and we're going to start with the smallest number. So I know that 23 is the smallest, 40 is the middle number, and 81 is my largest number. For question number 3, show 2 ways to make 35 cents. I chose to use a quarter, which is 25, and a dime would get me to 35. I also chose to do 3 dimes, 10, 20, 30, and a nickel to get me to 35 cents. There's more than just these 2 ways, so you maybe had a different answer than me, and that's okay. For question number 4, write even or odd. So 20 is an even number, 5 is an odd, 17 is an odd number, and 33 is also an odd number. When I'm deciding if it's even or odd, I'm just looking at the ones place. So since I know that the 0 is an even, since I know 5 is odd, for 17 I'm just looking at the 7, and for the 33 I'm just looking at the 3 when I'm deciding if it's even or odd. For question number 5, fill in the missing frames. So if my rule is plus 10, I ended at 60, so then I have 70, 80, they gave me 90. After 90, I have 100, 110, 120. For question number 6, I chose to use the unit pennies. You could put whatever unit you wanted. But when I'm solving 9 plus 5, I know my answer is 14. 2 plus 5 is 7, 6 plus 5 is 11, 8 plus 5 is 13, 5 plus 7 is 12, and 5 plus 5 is 10. So please double check to make sure you have this page correct, and if you're noticing that you have any questions, you can ask your classroom teacher. If you could put your math journal to the side and take out either your whiteboard and marker or your notebook and pencil. If the speed is too fast, please pause as often as needed. In today's whiteboard work, we're going to write quite a few numbers, and then we're going to talk about which is either the larger number or which is the smaller number. So on your board, could you write down the numbers 15 and 18? And boys and girls, circle the larger number. You should have circled 18, and if I'm going too fast, you can pause in between each problem. Then will you write down 25 and 15? And again, circle the larger number. You should have circled 25. Will you write 68 and 86? But this time, will you circle the smaller number? You should have circled 68 because 68 is smaller than 86. Let's try some more. Will you write down 115 and 107? And will you circle the larger number? If I'm going too fast, you can press pause. The larger number would be 115. Can you write down the number 200 and the number 189? And circle the larger number. And the larger number would be 200. will you write down 250 and the number 205, but this time will you circle the smaller number? The smaller number would be 205. Let's practice 3 more like this. We have bigger numbers yet. So now will you write down the number 1,245 and the number 1,189? And will you circle the larger number? If you need to press pause and then hit play when you're ready. The larger number is 1,245. Will you write down the number 3,002 and the number 1,299? And circle the larger number. The larger number would be 3,002. We'll practice one more. Will you write down the numbers 4,132 and the number 4,122? And this time will you circle the smaller number? And the number you would have circled would have been 4,122 because that number is smaller than 4,132. If you want more practice with this, you can practice comparing more numbers, either tens, hundreds, or even thousands. But the next thing we're going to do is we'll put our notebook or our whiteboard to the side, and we're going to talk about Math Journal pages 17 and 18. So could you take a look at Math Journal page 17 first? So today we're going to again be using our less than, greater than, or equal to symbols to compare some numbers. Now I like to imagine that alligator, and I like to think about that alligator wants to eat the bigger number. So I want that mouth to be open to the number that's bigger. If my numbers are the exact same, then I put those equal signs in. So second graders, if I just do one of them with you, if I'm just looking at number 1, and I think if I have 61 and 26, well, I know that 61 is greater than 26. So I make sure that that alligator mouth is open to that 61. Could you try solving as much of this page as you are able, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answers. Press pause now. Let's finish talking about the top section and then we'll talk about the other bottom parts. So for question number 2, I have 18 and 81, and I know that 18 is less than 81, so I have that mouth open to that 81. For question number 3, I know that 107 is greater than 57. For question number 4, I have 114, which is equal to 114. For question number 5, 299 is less than 302. For question number 6, 6,032 is less than 1. I'm going to reread that number. So for number 6, 1,032 is less than 1,132. Second graders, for the try this, there on one side for this one they gave you the answer, but the other side you need to add those two numbers and figure out which is greater. So can you make sure to solve those problems first and then plug in your less than, greater than symbol? The same thing when you're looking at the bottom part, the bottom amounts. So for number 10, you're going to add up the amount of money. You're going to write the cents on the line. You'll do the same thing on the other side and then insert your symbol. So just like in the example, They had a dime, which was 10, a nickel, which would be 15, 20, 21, 22 cents. Where on the other side, they just had a quarter, which was 25, and a penny, 26. And we know that 26 is greater, or 22 is less than 26. So could you solve 7 through 12, and then press play when you're ready to hear the answer? Press pause now. All right, boys and girls. So I know that 7 plus 8 is also 15. So for number 7, 15 is equal to 7 plus 8. For number 8, I know 9 plus 2 is 11, and 4 plus 5 is 9. So 11 is greater than 9. And for number 9, I know that 5 plus 6 is 11, and 8 plus 4 is 12. So 11 is less than 12. Then when I'm talking about the money, I had 21 cents, and I know that 21 cents is less than 45 cents. How I figured out 45 cents, I know I have a quarter, which was 25, a nickel, which would be giving me 30, a dime for 40, and another nickel for 45. When I counted up the money for number 11, I had 41 cents, and then I also had 56 cents. I know that 41 cents is less than 56 cents. And for our last problem, I had 55 cents, which I know is greater than 26 cents. If you have any questions on this page, you can ask your classroom teacher. The last thing we're going to talk about today are our math boxes, which is page 18. So we'll talk about the directions once we're all done. I want you to take a picture and add that picture to Seesaw for your classroom teacher, and we'll go over this page in our next video. So for question number 1, you need to add up the money and then circle the best answer. Fill in the missing numbers for number 2. If it's helpful to use a number grid, you do have a number grid in your math journal on the back cover. For question number 3, write down how many tallies you see. For question 4, draw the hands to show 615. Solve for number 5. You can use whatever unit you would like. And also solve for number 6 using whichever unit you would like. I'm noticing in number 6 we are getting some bigger numbers. So if it's helpful, again, to use a number grid and to kind of ignore maybe that hundreds place for a moment and really focus on what that 9 is going to do to that tens place. All right, boys and girls, we will see you next time.